Hey guys, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Courage, Wisdom, Power, where we treat games like that round of Ultimate Musical Chairs, where you did unspeakable acts just to get a single seat. Sorry. This is a Christian gaming podcast. Our mission statement is to have the courage to stand up for the faith, the wisdom to speak God's word, and the power to live for the Lord in everything we do, and just by listening, you are furthering the goal we set out to accomplish. The theme this season is Keep It Intentional, and an appropriately spooky episode topic for this October Monday is how to faithfully fear. That was so awkwardly written. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the mistakes of past me. But yeah, today's theme is how to faithfully fear. But before we get into that, let's catch up on what's been going on in my life and what I've been playing. I didn't have this part of the episode scripted. Don't worry, I have the rest of it all scripted out. Because, I learned my lesson from last time. I made sure the sermon part was scripted. So, game-wise, I played a bit more of Ghost Recon Wildlands, even though I was going to try and swear it off because it's bad. But I thought it would be a fun idea to get back in and, just get another look at it, see if I was wrong. I wasn't, but it's like Instagram Reels, or it's like TikTok, where you keep scrolling and it's terrible for you. It's terrible overall, but you can't help yourself because the dopamine going woo woo woo. One more mission, hop in with the boys that are not real, into the most generic enemy bunker you've ever seen. But hey, you get to go shooty shooty. The drone goes wee up into the air. It's definitely a podcast game or a time waster game. So a podcast game is a game that is made for you to just pop in earbuds, turn on a podcast that you're behind on, or turn on an audiobook or something, or a album you wanted to listen to. And it's just a game that you can have in the background while you do that, or a game you watch a movie with, or catch up on a show with. It's the game you play while you're watching One Piece. It's that kind of game. I am a personal fan of podcast games. I think podcast games can be good in some cases. For if you are behind on a podcast like this one. So if you're behind on podcasts, I'll make a episode about podcast games at some point, so you know what to play while you're listening to this. Usually podcast games are the ones you'll see in Instagram Reels, or I keep going to Instagram Reels. I don't have TikTok, so that's what I use to waste my time. But it's the ones you'll see in those Reddit read over reels where it's it's Forza or something, or one of the Assassin's Creed games that came out around that weird period where it didn't really care about itself. So it time waster games. Usually Ubisoft stuff. Ubisoft is the king of time waster podcast games. And I personally love podcast games in a sense. I like when they advertise themselves as that, but when they don't, and Ghost Recon Wildlands was kind of hyped up for me, so that may have changed my opinion on it. But yeah, one of my favorite PS1 games I'd describe as a podcast game, and that's Driver. I love Driver. I think it's fantastic. I'm one of the 1% of players who've beaten the tutorial. Just gonna pat myself on the back for that. Driver is really fun if you can get into it. And that I would describe as a podcast game. Anyways, I played a bit more of that, but since I was gonna start playing Max Payne because I picked that up in the sale that I was at, but I haven't had the time to, or I did, and I just chose to play Ghost Recon. I don't know why. My brain be goofy like that. Anyways, so instead, I'm gonna talk about, did I watch any movies? I think I watched a movie recently. did I watch a movie? No, I had a really fun little adventure that has to do with movies, but I barely even watched any movies in that adventure. So me and my friends have been planning for a while. Like, we want to go see The Creator, like that new sci-fi movie. And for a while now, we've been planning this. We've been wanting to do movie nights as a group, and this felt like a really good one because a lot of us are nerds. It was kind of a crowd pleaser sci-fi film from what I heard. And it's by a Star Wars director. So it's like everyone's probably going to love it or love something about it. It's got a, what's his name? Denzel Washington's son. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to go see it, and we're all super excited to go see it. And then when we got to the theater, we paid for our tickets. We got into the theater that we were watching the movie in, and 10 minutes pass, and then another few minutes pass, and the movie was supposed to start commercials were supposed to start at like 7:30. At this point, it was like 7:45. So my friend Colton walked out of the theater and go ask them what was going on, and the projector was broken in that specific theater. Not any of the other ones, just that one theater in the building. And so we did not get to watch our movie, but the manager gave us free passes for whatever movie we wanted to watch instead. Great. That's cool. And she said they also work for IMAX. So, that's an IMAX ticket for the price of a normal ticket. Like, that's awesome. You just have to watch the movie before the end of October. Like, there's an expiration date. It was October 31st. And so I was like, awesome. I was like thinking of all the movies we could watch. I was like listening to them, like Killers of the Flower Moon or Five Nights at Freddy's, which I've decided I'm going to watch at home because I don't want to deal with iPad kids. Or like, I don't know what else is coming out this month that I actually want to watch. But my friend Darren had an idea, and he was like, hey, what if we go and see The Blind? He'd already seen it. It's the new biopic about the head of the Robertson family, like the grandpa in Duck Dynasty. And I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. I really want to see that. And so it was like, awesome, we can go see it after small group on Tuesday. So we had small group, and it went a little over, and also small group was further away than I thought it was. And we both loved it, so we like stayed for most of small group, even if it was going over. And then he told me he had to pick up his cousin, because his cousin was going to come see it with us too. And that was like opposite direction of the theater. So we picked up his cousin, and then we went to the theater, and we were just too late. Like, by a few minutes, we were too late, like, for them to sell us the tickets. And it was, I didn't like it. And so they're like, sorry guys, but you can watch any other movie that we got going. And we're like, okay, what other movies do you got going? And they're like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I've already seen. And what was the other one? There was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was The Creator, I think. Yeah, The Creator again, which I should have just went to The Creator. Because that's the one that we were originally gonna watch. So like that makes sense if we went to that one. And then the last option was A Haunting in Venice, which I've seen the other two Hercule Poirot movies, and I loved them. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were so fun. This one, though, I thought it was going to be like the other two, where it's like an actual murder mystery and like very grounded. Like Agatha Christie likes to write more grounded novels. It slowly, like as we were watching, occurred to me that this was not a very grounded one. I thought like the whole twist was going to be like, she faked the whole thing. And if you don't know what Haunting in Venice is about, it's the third in the trilogy of Hercule Poirot movies. Sorry about that. And he's like Agatha Christie's Sherlock Holmes. And in this movie, after the last two things happened, he decided he is retiring from solving murders. And like people are asking him all over the streets, like, oh, can you help me solve this murder? It was a mysterious death. How about this one and this one? And he just passes them all off. And then he gets visited by a writer friend of his who says there is a so-called medium in Venice, like who's visiting Venice, and she wants Poirot to figure out her trick. And the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, he's going to figure out the trick. It's going to be all faked. None of it's going to be real. There's not actually going to be a ghost or a demon or anything. And then there may have actually been a demon / ghost. And it slowly started to occur that this wasn't a more grounded one. And then, spoilers, because I don't want you guys watching this movie anyways, the medium gets brutally murdered, and they're still being attacked. And so my friend Darren just looked over at me, and he's encountered like very demonic things happening. Like if there's anyone to ask about that, like he's seen possession firsthand. And he looked at me dead in the eyes, looked up the ending, and then showed it to me. And I was like, oh, I really wanted to watch this one though. And like it's one of the only times I've had to walk out. It's the only time I've had to walk out of a movie theater because it was very, very twisted, very demonic. Not good for the Christian mind, or any mind for that matter. So yeah, my review of Haunting in Venice, fun movie until I realized it's very demonic. And so I said I'm so sorry to Darren and his cousin, and I told Darren, hey, since your cousin, since she paid like out of pocket to pay for a ticket, you are paying for her next theater ticket or I will. I was like, that just feels right, because she also really wanted to watch it. She also really wanted to see Haunting in Venice. And so I told him either he is paying for her next ticket or I am paying for the next ticket. So that's all sorted out. So then we just went and hung out with everybody else back at someone's house. They were all hanging out anyways. And it was great. It was a great night. But yeah, don't watch Haunting in Venice. Very unchristian movie. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled for this stuff, guys. Like this was what episode, like the last episode of this show was. Like, keep your eyes open for this stuff. It is right there. Like, goodness, we need to stay away from that. Like, don't sit through the whole thing like, oh, it'll change, it'll get better. No, it won't. It most likely won't. Don't play with that stuff. It's not fun. Anyways, music time. I really gotta think of a name for this segment, but today's song is Happy Song by John Michael Howell, specifically the low key edit. I think it's a very encouraging song personally, and I hope you do too. There's two versions of this song out there. One of them's really upbeat and high energy, but I like this version a lot better. It's a lot slower. It's a lot nicer to my ears. Yeah. So hope you enjoy it. This is Happy Song Low Key by John Michael Howell. I'll be right back.
Hello, this is Henry of 2025. A lot of these old episodes got copyright striked because of song time specifically. So I will be cutting the song time songs out of every single episode. Sorry, I'll make like a Spotify playlist of all of them or something. But for now, this is just how it's gonna be. We got 17 episodes copyright striked, with probably more on the way. So I'm just gonna knock this out of the way right now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now back to cringe me from like less than a year to 2 years ago. Yeah.
All right, on to today's topic: how to faithfully fear. We all have fears. We're all scared of something. For example, I cannot watch a slasher horror film for the life of me. Even if the gore is super over the top and basically impossible in real life, I still can't get myself to watch them. I also cannot do heights very well, no matter how hard I try to break that fear. Every time I think I'm over it, I go up a really high building or a really high roller coaster and freak out. But according to the word, we should not fear. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. All right, so I have the Lord protecting me, and trusting him will give me the strength to overcome these fears. I still have fear. Do I just not trust the Lord enough? The Bible gives us another solution to the fears, or at least another explanation. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. If we truly have the Spirit within us, it should replace the fear in you with power, love, and self-control. But what does it mean by self-control? My interpretation is knowing when at a certain point you're just exposing yourself to fear just so you can. We need to be wise and intentional in our decisions. That includes not willingly exposing ourselves to things that cause us to stumble. The main thing the word has to say about our fear is to put our trust in God to deliver us from it. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Psalm 34:4. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me? Psalm 56:3 and 4. Putting trust in the Lord over these things will ultimately save you from fear. Knowing you are safe in his arms and in his love, and accepting that, is the ultimate fear killer. I'll end this with a set of verses you might have heard at least once or twice, might even hold it as a mantra in your own life. And that's Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overfloweth. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So, fear. It is a very taxing subject on my mind, because I think I'm a pretty faithful person. I think I'm a pretty trusting person in the Spirit. This is one of those things that makes me think, am I really fully trusting the Lord? Because I am a wimp. I cannot take that much. Like, I get I get nightmares from like those crappy jump scare games you find on like Gmod and itch.io. Like, it's I'm weak. That's the best way I can say it. I'm weak. And whenever I hear these verses saying the Spirit will cleanse you of fear and strengthen you, I just think, like, I still have fear, though. I still fear death. I still fear horrible things and pain and all of this. Is that my fault? Am I not spiritual enough? Am I not enough? And then it's now just dawning on me, like, what it means by he'll cleanse us of fear and give us the strength is, I think he means he'll cleanse us of the fear of sharing him. Because I'll be on, like, if I were told by a kidnapper, like, I'm going to shoot you. Like, if a kidnapper had a blindfold over my face and said, I'm going to shoot you right now, I would be absolutely terrified for my life. But if he tossed on top of that, I'm going to shoot you unless you denounce your faith, I would not be afraid. I would not be fearful. I would say, no, I will not denounce my faith. And I will do it confidently. I have seen the sacrifices of martyrs. I have seen the examples that have been set in our generation and previous generations and generations of the Bible itself. I have seen people die for the faith, and I always think, would I be faithful enough to also do that? And every time I just think, yeah, I would. So while fear of like things that would bring me pain, yeah, I have that. I'm terrified of that. I'm terrified of heights. If I was on a super high building and I looked down and somebody pushed me a little bit, yeah, I would jump. I would be, well, I wouldn't like jump off the edge, but like I'd jump in fright. Like I'd be afraid. I'd like reel back and be like, why'd you do that? That I don't like that. But if I was put in a martyr like situation, like if I was about to get martyred, I would not fear. I know I would not fear, because I have the strength the Lord has given me through the Spirit to not fear that. So, while Jason may terrify me on screen, the terrorists do not terrify me in this scene. I hated that. That was so bad. Anyways, before I do the outro, there's something going on in the world right now. You probably all know about it. You probably all are talking about it greatly in church. If not in church, in school. If not in school, you're seeing it everywhere. The war in Israel currently, it is... What is that coming from? Where's that coming from? Somebody's drilling something. Anyways, as I was saying, the war in Israel right now, I am not very educated on what's going on. I have not had the full story explained to me. I do not watch the news. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and watched a news station. But what I have seen and what I have heard is some of the most despicable and horrifying things I have ever heard happen to humanity, by humanity, ever. And I just want to say, if you're not already praying for Israel right now, I pray. Just pray as much as you can, right now even, because they need all the prayer they can get. There's nothing else we can do at this point in time. All I can say is pray, because if anyone needs it, it is the people of Israel right now, because what they're going through is terrifying, and I could not go through that for the life of me. It's a horror of humanity that we will be talking about for years. And if you are not already educated on it, I'm probably going to educate myself up on it after this. Then I propose that you do, so you can know fully what is going on, so you can fully understand everything and not be strayed on information. And so you can keep everything in your prayers and know what you're praying for. Anyways, yeah, us at Courage Wisdom Power, or me at Courage Wisdom Power, I'm praying for Israel constantly. And I hope you do too. But this will be the end of this episode for the day. Thank you so much for listening. Hit the follow button on Spotify. Hit the bell for notifications on new episodes. Follow the Instagram for some funny Instagram reels and memes and stuff. I'd started posting on my story again, so there's a lot of memes on there, and those are really fun. And then I also do updates on new episodes over there too. And then a quick shout out. There's this guy that has been following the Instagram since its baby days, who has grown along. I would call him a brother in Christian memeing. His name is Diligent Disciples. If you have not followed this guy yet, he is incredible. His work is incredible. He has been one of the constants with the podcast since the inception of the Instagram, and I cannot thank the amount of loyalty he has had to the show, and I have never met this man ever in my life, but he's closer than many other people in my life. I would say that he has incredible theology videos, incredible memes. His memes are up there when it comes to Christian memes. They're fantastic. So go check him out, Diligent Disciples on Instagram. Very, very cool guy. Go check out some of our merch. It's the same stuff that we've had because I've been rethinking a lot of the designs that we've been thinking about. I feel like the take your kids to church shirt is kind of, I'm trying to reel back from the like hateful views that I've put out, like the hateful comments I put out, and like just the negative stuff. I'm trying to reel back from that because I feel like it was just very un-Jesus-like and very against the message that I want to spread. I was not being intentional with my words. And I feel like that's the Take Your Kids to Church shirt. I feel like that shirt is made out of spite. So we will not be making that design. That is an official order from me. So, I'm thinking of other designs to do eventually, but for now, we just got the Jeff Keighley design, the standard one, and I think we have the Mass Effect one. If not, I will put that one up. I don't think I told you guys about that one. And we had a Zelda one, but it got taken down immediately because it had the word Zelda in it, and that's really stupid. Anyways, follow the Discord because it is still dead silent. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.